I finished reading Perfect Parenting and Other Myths, and I threw it over there because I didn't want to deal with it anymore. So technically I didn't finish reading it, but I got the gist. I only had like 2 chapters left, and that just talked about how your marriage affects kids. It's not a bad book. It was written in the mid-1980s, which means it's outdated. The ideas presented in it are very much today's society. So we want to encourage kids. We want to give them responsibility. We want to give them purpose so that they're not discouraged and thus acting out. It talks about power plays usually being a result of being discouraged. And it talks about pretty much everything you could think about when it comes to raising kids. What made me chuckle a few times was that it showed how outdated it was. For instance, the counsel not to let TV start parenting our children while we do things. Now, we have an issue with more than just TV. We have phones, we have iPads, we have video games and all that jazz. And I can see his point to some extent, but this was the 1980s. This is the 2020s. We kind of have very different, pretty different culture. And one of the other things he talked about was in regards to children knowing whether or not they had to go to the bathroom or whether or not they need to eat or whatnot. And parents, saying, hey, you better go to the bathroom just in case before we leave. And the child saying, I don't have to go to the bathroom. I don't think he has experienced a child who is so involved with their playing or with what they're doing that they don't go to the bathroom. So does the child really know that they have to go to the bathroom? Maybe not. It's a fairly common trait in ADHD kids that have issues remembering to eat, remembering to go to the bathroom sometimes, especially when they're younger. But remembering to eat is probably the big one. And by the time they switch tasks, they realize that they're starving. So I get where you're coming from. Yes, that can be a power play in some areas, but he does not, because it was the mid-1980s, neurodivergence does not come into play, neither does mental disorders. He does talk about depression as a power play, using Elizabeth Browning's story. It's a good reminder to give our kids responsibilities and purpose, and to continually encourage our kids to be a part of the family, the community, all that jazz, to have purpose. It's a great reminder for that, but it is outdated. Now, we could probably use a lot of that counsel in a more current time frame, like something in the 2020s. If we could gear that to the 2020s, be a little bit more realistic about the culture that we have now, I think it'd be perfect.